What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time here on a Saturday. Hopefully, I can't go outside. Not that we go outside when we play DFS and sports, but we all live in the basement. Too much smoke in the air from your Canada, TJ. I'm coming after you.
How dare you come after Canada on Canada Day, Britt? That's like quite literally illegal. If you come in here, you'll get arrested for doing that.
Oh, no. We're here with TJ. Hit the like button. We'll get some Spidey bombs going in a little bit. We're here with Tim as well. Tim, what's going on?
Yeah, not much, guys. We got a lot of things going on. We were talking about some NFL best ball before the show. We got MMA. I just watched a little MMA show before this show, so it's a fun day for some sports for sure.
Yeah, lots going on out there. We're gonna have a nice little baseball slate. Before we start, I want to thank our sponsor FanDuel for sponsoring it. We'll have hopefully some home run calls. I know if you're doing, I posted on Scores and Odds a lot of the season-long NFL props. FanDuel does have some pretty nice lines over there. Scroll through those. You might be able to find a couple of good ones. But if you are a new user to FanDuel, you can get an up to $1,000 in bonus bets if you are a first-time customer. Probably all have FanDuel. It's the first sportsbook I don't downloaded. But if you don't and you are in a sports betting state, make sure to check that out. All right, baseball, 7 games. I'm going to start with Tim here. We're going to go over basically the pitching here. I've got the bat pulled up, and I love Cardi. I love the bat. I'm overriding the bat today. I am not starting Justin Verlander on my
really
in
cash games. You're talking cash games. You're not.
I'm not doing that. I am fully in on Dylan Cease today against Oakland. His strikeout stuff is ticked up. It's Oakland. I much prefer that over Justin Verlander's. Like, I don't know. He just ain't it this season. He seems like he's taking a pretty significant downtick. Not a ton of strikeouts. Was really struggling earlier in the year. He's come around a little bit here. But I prefer Cease. I can get all the bats I want. I can get Acuna. I can get some of the bats I want. No problem. Maybe I don't have Matt Olson or somebody in there, right? I'll go that. I just trust Cease a little bit more than Verlander. You've got Wheeler in there too. I prefer Wheeler specifically over Verlander. Verlander's a little bit down for me today. How are you handling it?
Yeah, I am. I don't think you're wrong at all by fading Verlander in cash. But personally, being fully transparent, I am playing Verlander in cash. But I don't think that your take is incorrect. I'm gonna trust that it's I'm gonna trust Verlander in this. I'm going Verlander, Wheeler today. That's gonna be my pairing in cash games. It's just this Giants team. They're kind of boom or bust. They strike out a lot. We saw what Chris Bassett did to them the other day. I do agree with you. It's not the same Verlander as old, but he's not priced as the Verlander of old. Like, that's kind of the thing. He's priced for, in my opinion, for his decline. So it's that's kind of just my take. I'm totally with you. Like, you could to me there's four pitchers that you could go in cash games today. It's Verlander, it's Wheeler, it's Cease, and then I think it's Kyle Bradish. I think you can realistically play Kyle Bradish in cash games today just because he's so cheap. And he's in a pretty good spot, and he really allows you to get whatever bats you want. Definitely TJ is going to talk about him in tournaments, but I still think that you could even play Bradish in cash games.
All right, let's see what TJ's view on all this. We're at 30 likes first, TJ. How about 50 likes for the first Spidey Bomb? Sound good to you?
50 likes for the first, 75 for the second, 100 for the third. See if we get a few more viewers popping in here and get that third one. That'd be great. So keep hitting that like button. And yeah, so for tournaments today, kind of depends on the site. So on FanDuel, you get obviously a bit more of that price discount on Justin Verlander. Kyle Bradish isn't quite as cheap, but he is still very viable with how cheap he is. I'm a lot more interested in somebody like Nathan Eovaldi over there, who's priced at a discount as opposed to much more expensive than everybody else on DraftKings. So I actually really like Nathan Eovaldi for tournaments. I think he's very interesting today. And I don't even think it's crazy to take some shots on Hunter Brown either, another guy that's priced up a little bit on DraftKings. And then on FanDuel, he actually comes at a discount from everybody else. So I don't mind taking some shots there. Don't mind some Charlie Morton. And on DraftKings, I'm playing 3 lineups today, but I think I would have this same 6-player pool even if I was playing 150. And it's Wheeler, Morton, Corbin Burns, Justin Verlander, Dylan Cease, and Kyle Bradish. In my 3 lineups today, I have one of them is Verlander Bradish, one is Cease Bradish, and then one is Wheeler and Cease.
Yeah, Bradish on DraftKings makes a lot of sense if you're trying to reach all the expensive bats because he's so cheap. It's a reasonably good matchup too against Minnesota for some strikeouts, so I understand that. We talked a little bit of, well, at least TJ did Morton. Tim Morton, what's your take on him? You know, reasonably good pitcher. Miami does get Jazz Chisholm back, so the lineup's a little bit tougher today. Just not someone I'm actively targeting. Are there any sort of sleepers? Like Gore can come out there and he could certainly post. He's got a nice K rate against Philly. We're probably targeting maybe not so much in cash, but more so in tournaments. Some of the Philly bats here. Any of these other guys you think could step up?
Yeah. So in expert survey today, I actually picked Miami as my sneaky stack. I'm not on Morton at all. I very, very rarely bet sports, but I bet the over in this Atlanta Miami game. So I am out on Morton completely. I think Miami's got quite a bit of sneaky upside in this matchup. So I actually like their bats quite a bit for large field GPPs. Corbin Burns is fine. I actually kind of considered him in my single entry team today. I bet the Brewers today at money line minus 130. So yeah, like I'm fine. I'm fine with Burns. Burns has been, I mean, he's not been the same guy at all. Like there's no denying that. I think that this matchup is decent enough though that he could spike a ceiling game pretty easily. Other than that though, like I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of like some kind of bargain guy that I would go to. Oviedo, maybe, but that might be a stretch. Even
if you're
then,
playing
so.
150 on DraftKings, I think you can play Oviedo or even like I think you could even like roll out Kyle Muller on DraftKings if you're playing a ton of lineups, just because the White Sox are going to be somewhat chalky and you don't have to worry about pitch count concerns for him. Yeah, he might he will likely be terrible. But if he's not, you get the White Sox chalk failing, and you got a guy who's 5K and 15 points might do it for you.
Yeah, White Sox definitely going to be the most popular bats today. And bets, Tim said he had Milwaukee. I did. I think the only bet I have is I took the White Sox at the minus 1.5. I think I got that around minus 130 or so. Check around for that. But if you were looking for a bet, that is one I personally have made today. All right, TJ. I just peeked over at the YouTube. We are past 50. We're rocketing into the 60s. Let's get this first Spidey bomb out of the way. Producer Rob, you got anything for us?
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thief.
All right, Spidey bomb number 1. We'll get sneakier as we go here. We're already very close to 75 likes, and we already got over 200 people watching, so it should be nice and easy to get that third Spidey bomb up at 100 likes. So keep hitting that like button. Spidey bomb number 1 is pretty obvious, but it is my favorite home run bet on the slate. I got him included in every single one of my parlays today. It's Luis Robert. Sorry, I always still make that mistake. On our scores and odds page, you can see Robert is projected for plus 156 to hit a home run, and you can get him for plus 350 on Fanduel, plus 370 on Caesars Sportsbook. So Luis Robert is Spidey bomb number 1. We'll get a little sneakier as we go here, but that's the first one. Just the guy that I think is most likely to hit a home run today.
Yeah, if he's on all my DFS teams too. I'm sure he's probably on Tim's as well. One of the top plays of the day, getting it at plus 390. Tim, that seems like a reasonable bet today.
Yeah, for sure. We just got a delay notice in the Milwaukee-Pittsburgh game. Roth has that game rated as a yellow. A few storms around, a delay is certainly possible. I suppose I can't rule out worse, but I don't expect it. That's what he said. But that game is in a delay.
Yeah, I looked at the weather, so there's a lot on the weather page, but it's all yellow. Everything seemed pretty promising. So unless there's a tweet from Roth that says red alert, I'm assuming every game ends up playing pretty much without consequence today is the theory I have on everything. And we're yellow-orange. If I don't see orange, I'm not really too concerned at all. And Roth's pretty good. If something does pop up, sending some tweets out. I'll keep an eye on that. But overall, I'm not too concerned on the weather slate. TJ, I'm going to go to you for offense. We're at 74 likes too. So when you're done, We can get Spidey Bomb number 2, but for offense tournaments today, right, we've got the White Sox against Oakland. We've got this Atlanta team facing a reasonably good starting pitcher today, but they're hitting out of this world right now. It's really hard to not want them. Is that where we're going? Do you have another favorite team you'd want to target?
So Atlanta is my favorite option on the board today. I really respect Perez, but this is still just the top offense in baseball right now, and they have been all season long. So Atlanta is going to be my top offense. The White Sox, I do come in number 2 for me. They're nice and cheap. Robert, Jimenez, Berger, Vaughn, all of these guys, just they have power, and they're facing a bad pitcher with a terrible bullpen behind him. So I do really like the White Sox as well. I think my next 2 favorites for tournaments, like, don't get me wrong, I like the Phillies a little bit. Baltimore's fine. A little bit of Milwaukee, I think, is okay. Miami, I agree with Tim. I like for tournaments as well, especially like Jazz Chisholm as a one-off. I like that play. But I think my other 2 favorite offenses for tournaments are going to be San Fran and the Mets. Verlander is going to be somewhat chalky today, and I do have a Verlander lineup, but I want to stack the Giants in a lineup too. This is not a bad offense by any means. Yes, they're a little bit undermanned right now, but Verlander hasn't been himself. He's going to be chalky, and there's not a single player projecting on the Giants right now outside of JD Davis for more than 5% ownership. And so these are some guys with some power. They're cheap. I like getting to the Giants today. And then I really do like getting to the Mets as well. Pete Alonso has been struggling a little bit, but he's still fine. But I really like Francisco Lindor, and I really like these lefties here. I like paying all the way down to a guy like Vogelbach. And I also like a Spidey Bomb as well. So hit it, Rob.
Nope.
Nope. He says no. So Spidey Bomb number 2. He's muted too, so we didn't even hear him. We just
Good job, Rob. Well done.
Rob must have been eating.
Yeah, Spidey Bomb number 2 today is on the Mets. This is a guy who's hitting with much more power than we are used to him hitting this year. We know Desclafani has always struggled against lefties. He's got a 50% hard hit rate to them this year. And Brandon Nimmo has a 208 ISO to lefties this year. He's hitting a ton of homers. And he is Spidey Bomb number 1. You can find him, number 2. You can find him over at Fanduel for plus 680.
What? 680?
Plus 680. And he's somebody I got in my parlays today as well. So Brandon Nimmo, Spidey Bomb number 2.
All right, the 680 is definitely too good. I'm gonna, before we go to anything else, I'm gonna have to get that bet in for sure. So, Tim, any cash games real quick? Offense? What I mean, to me, it's like it's White Sox, it's Acuna.
Yeah.
Fill in the rest.
You're going to be littered with Atlanta and White Sox in your cash games today. I was kind of bummed that TJ brought up the Mets because I absolutely love the Mets. I wanted to be the one to talk about the Mets. I love them in single entries today. I have a full stack in both DraftKings and FanDuel in my single entry team. I think even guys like Jeff McNeil, Nimmo, Alvarez, some of those cheaper guys, you could even play in cash games. Like if you need to, like, if you land on there, like Jeff McNeil at 3,400 on DraftKings, I think is fully in the cash game conversation, or GPPs, whatever you want to do. I'm very, very high on the Mets today. I think TJ is spot on with that call.
All right, let's go to some position by position, getting close to Spidey Bomb number 315 likes away. Catcher today, probably not so much on FanDuel, more on DraftKings. To me, Tim, a spot I'm saving. If I want to play Ronald Acuna, I can't spend up on catcher, and it's like $1,000 difference for Ronald Acuna or the best catcher. I'm going to find a way to get Ronald Acuna on my team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Victor Carantini is a salary saving option. Yep. Carlos Perez, I think, would be another one that you could punt with. I really think you could play Alvarez too, but he's a little bit pricey at 3,600. But you're certainly not paying up for catcher in cash games today.
Yeah, and then TJ, you got anyone you're home run hunting with at the catcher position?
I don't think anybody in particular. I do really like Sebi Zavala as a full out punt today. Francisco Alvarez is another guy I don't mind going to. Sean Murphy, if you can get up to him. We're projecting a lot more ownership to Real Muto than Murphy right now, which I think is interesting. Obviously, Real Muto's got a nice matchup going up against Gore, but I like Murphy as a spend up, and then I really like Zavala as my favorite punt at 2.2K. And then if I'm going in the mid tier, I don't even hate the idea of taking a one-off of like a guy like Yainer Diaz, even though it's a tough matchup.
I just saw a Roth tweet. He says, "Don't worry about the Pittsburgh game. Shouldn't be much of an issue at all." All right, first base. Tim, I feel like it's going to be White Sox. It's going to be Atlanta. If you're cheap, you can go White Sox. If you got money, you can play Atlanta. That's pretty much the whole way down the board today.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I also kind of disagree with you. I kind of like Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think he would actually be my favorite, especially since we just got that confirmation from Roth not to worry about it. I'm completely fine with people if they want to play Andrew Vaughn. I completely get it. I'm personally playing Tellez, but that is not by any means something that I think is a definite. I love on FanDuel. I love Garrett Cooper in GPPs as like a punt play also. And then we've already talked about it, how much we like the Mets. I love Pete Alonso today. I mean, I know everybody wants to stack the lefties, but I think Alonso goes under-owned today.
Yeah, if you have the money, you can get Olsen for sure. But if you had to choose Olsen or Acuna today, Tim, in your lineup,
Wow.
that was basically
that's easy. You're definitely doing Acuna.
Yeah, me too. So I'm sort of out on Olsen, and I think Rowdy or Vaughn on FanDuel probably makes a lot of sense. And Vaughn's just he's 3,100 on DraftKings. That looks pretty nice to me. TJ, anything? If we're all playing Olsen and Tellez and Vaughn, which one of those, in theory, would you want to have the most of at their price point? And then is there anyone else you want to look at?
Vaughn, I think, is probably my favorite in a vacuum from a DFS perspective, but Olsen, when I can get up to him, I absolutely adore. Rowdy Tellez is another guy that is also in my home run parlays today, so I love that call. Ryan O'Hearn, if you need to get really cheap, I don't mind, but I love Daniel Vogelbach as a full-out punt. Like 2.4K Daniel Vogelbach, I think, is a great play in tournaments.
We are 9 likes away. There's a lot of you in here today. Hit the like button. We'll get Spidey Bomb number 3 so far. We've got Luis Robert and Brandon Nimmo as the Spidey Bombs. A few more likes. We'll get the third one from TJ. Going to second base. Tim, what are we looking at today?
Yeah, if you can't get to Albies, I think that you need to punt down to Jeff McNeil. I really like that play on both sites. He's 2,400 on FanDuel. He's 3,400 on DraftKings. Bryce Terang on FanDuel. Second base shortstop at the min price, I think, is a really, really strong play. He is 2,800 on DraftKings, so I think that's fine too, even on DK. Other than that, for cash, I think that would be kind of it for me.
Yeah, that's sort of all the guys in my wheelhouse as well. TJ, second base, 4 likes away. Let's talk second base, and then hopefully we get the Spidey Bomb out.
Yeah, let's do it. So second base today, Ozzy Albies, obviously kind of like the chalk strong play. I want to fade Tim Anderson. Like, I don't care that he's batting second. He's just been awful.
Yeah. He's playing through injury, obviously.
Yeah, and so like I'm gonna play somebody else. Like, he's gonna be near 30% on FanDuel, near 20% on DraftKings. I'm just 100% out today. I don't mind a little bit of Luis Arias if you fall there on the last piece. Jeff McNeil, I really like today. If you're not playing Cease and you want a full out punt with Tony Kemp at 2.2K leading off, I think that's fine. Julian, I think, is fine too. But most off, I'm probably just going to be playing, if it's not Albies, it's going to be someone in my stack.
Yeah, 2,500 for Anderson on FanDuel is a little different than 3,700. So I think I like McNeil over Anderson on DraftKings. Tim, would you go along with that?
McNeil over Anderson?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, on DraftKings.
Yeah.
And how much is you said McNeil's what, 2,400 on FanDuel?
He's 2,400 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
I think he's a great play in cash or GPPs today.
Yeah, I would probably play him straight up over Anderson if you were trying. Yeah. The White Sox look good, but Anderson's just having an absolutely horrific season. Third base, Tim, Austin Riley. If you got money, if you're cheap and you don't, we got Jake Berger. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I would say, you know, I know that I'm high on Verlander. I'm sure TJ would agree with this, but don't forget about Wilmer Flores today in tournaments. We know that Verlander is a big time reverse split pitcher. This could be the spot that you know, Verlander gives up that 1 or 2 home runs that he loves to give up. Same thing with JD Davis. So I think there's a couple really nice punts there for GPPs at third on FanDuel.
And then TJ, we're at 97 likes. Come on, people, hit the button. Only a couple of positions left. We just need 3 more. Third base, TJ, what are you looking at?
Yeah, keep hitting that like button. We're close. So Jake Berger, obviously, kind of I think the cash play that you want to go to is he's picking up ownership. I think he's great in tournaments too. Austin Riley, very strong. I don't mind. I see. Who is it? Is that Cards that's got Royce Lewis tagged? I think that's somewhat interesting. Going to a guy like him if you're not playing Bradish and you need to save some salary. Not as strong of a position today as we are used to. That's one of the reasons why, like, one of my lineups has Brett Beatty in it. But I do really love JD Davis. Like, he's probably my favorite tournament play here, outside of the Chalky Burger.
All right, we're at 99 likes, TJ. I'm going to trust the people out there to hit the like button. Tim, Rob, TJ, somebody hit it. TJ.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thief.
All right. You know, I was debating this one, not sure if I wanted to go there. This is somebody who hasn't hit a home run in a while. He's cold, as our guy Cardi would say. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna go with Tim likes him, I like him, and that's good enough for me. Rowdy Tellez plus 470 over on FanDuel, and he's in my parlay. In my parlays, I like him. Let's go with Rowdy Tellez.
All right, I'll follow you in on that one. Certainly have no problem with a Tellez home run, and 470 seems like a reasonably good price on him. And FanDuel, I got to say, too, their home run odds, they were, to start the season, were pretty weak. They pretty much have across the board the best home run odds. So thank you to FanDuel for offering that, at least on probably like 85% of the home run props out there. They're pretty much top of the line across the board. All right, shortstop, Tim, where are we looking at?
Willie Adames is actually my favorite. 3,000 on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. He's the play for me. Trey Turner's rated the best, but I think I want to prioritize kind of like my higher spends ups in the outfield. Yeah. So I have to either find somebody in the mid range or somebody very, very cheap. Adames is that guy for me. I think you can still play Bryce Terang if you don't have the money for Adames. I think Carlos Correa would be interesting for tournaments, but I think for cash or Lindor for tournaments too. But for cash, it's Adames for me.
Yeah, I'm on Adames too. TJ, from the tournament perspective, I don't know, where can you go at shortstop today? If you want to get really different, Seager against Brown, Trey Turner against Gore. I think if you're spending, I know you're probably going to like Lindor. You mentioned him. I think he's pretty interesting too. Is it spending or saving in the mid-tier for you?
Love Lindor today. He is definitely my favorite guy at this position. I got some Trey Turner. I like the Willie Adames call as well. Those to me are the top 3 guys here that I want to be going with. Outside of them, it's just really players in my stacks. But the other one I'd go with that I think is really interesting as a tournament pivot is if you're not playing Bradish, just rolling with Correa there as a one-off or even as like a mini stack with Buxton.
All right, going to the outfield. A couple of cash game locks. I think you definitely need a Robert, in my opinion, on both sites. You can probably get to Acuna as well. Really much, no matter who your pitcher is. Those are the 2 guys I think you got to have. Do you have any disagreement with that, Tim? Are you able to get both of them in there today?
I think it's pretty easy. Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't think you should have any issue. I think you even get to Robert, Acuna, and Yelich. To be honest with you, I think it can be done. So, I mean, I'm very high on the Brewers today. I think the bat is pretty high on the Brewers also. So, yeah, like Acuna is definitely your top priority. I wouldn't fool around with that option at all in cash games. I think Andrew Benintendi might be interesting if you need a punt in the outfield. But really, I think outfield is where you want to be spending your money on in cash games.
All right. And then TJ, for tournaments, you got anything specific you're looking at?
Acuna and Robert are still my two favorites, even though they're chalky today. I like these Miami outfielders a lot in tournaments. Soler and Jazz Chisholm. Byron Buxton is somebody that I'm very interested in today. I liked Schwarber quite a bit before seeing his ownership, but I think I'm just going to kind of go elsewhere today for the most part. He's fine, but he's picking up a lot of ownership. Jimenez I really like. Brandon Nimmo with Spidey Bum is going to be one of my higher owned guys today. And then don't forget to mix in your back of the order Atlanta guys if you're stacking Atlanta today. Absolutely nothing wrong with playing Rosario, with playing Harris, with playing Ozuna. They're not going to be very highly owned today at all, and they still got very high upside. So I like those guys, and I also like the San Fran outfielders. We got Jock Peterson leading off today, and I think he makes for a great play.
All right. If you guys have any questions, it's that time of the show. Let's go to YouTube. We'll take some questions from everybody. I'm looking. Does anyone know? Is MLB? There's a new live channel. Tim, direct me to this on the Discord. Where do I find this?
Yeah, I don't know what the channel's called.
MLB live stream in the RotoGrinders Discord
yeah,
page. It's the
yeah.
MLB live stream page.
All right, I'm looking
All right.
for it. Help me find this. Somebody. MLB Live. Oh,
Or it might
live-
just be the live stream chat. It might
Live
not
stream
even
Yeah,
chat?
I think it's just the live.
It's just the live stream chat.
All right, I've been out. I wasn't on the
Saturday.
show last weekend, so I was out of the loop on it. I have found it. So if you're in Discord, it's the live stream chat. If you're on the YouTubes, feel free to post a question there. We'll get to them all right now. Mr. Richard in YouTube wants to know DraftKings MME, Berger and Robert or Riley and Eloy. So are you going with the stack or are you splitting it up, TJ?
I'd go Berger and Robert.
I don't think either one of those are wrong, Tim. Those are both pretty good answers today, right?
Yeah, they're both good.
All right. Yeah, I think I could go with either one of those. Chad wants to know favorite two pitchers for DK Cash. Tim, I'll let you go first. Then I'll go. I think we might differ just a smidge.
Yeah, I'm going Verlander, Wheeler.
All right. I'm on Wheeler and Cease. So it looks like we're both on Wheeler. And then take your pick there. TJ, you be the tiebreak there. If you're playing a cash, which one you on?
It's Cease for me. Cease is my favorite pitcher on the side.
See you, Tim. We kicked you right out of there on that one. It'd be interesting to see how that one comes on. All right, FanDuel tournaments from Daryl on YouTube. Best or low-owned contrarian four-man stack, TJ?
Best or low-owned contrarian four-man stack, the Giants.
Tim?
Marlins.
I'll go with the Mets. How about that one? So we got all three different teams there. I think all very viable. Let's see. NBA DFS wants to know from the live stream chat, FanDuel Cash, Vaughn and Riley or Jazz and Berger, Tim?
I think it's the first one.
I think it's the first one. Wouldn't fault you for playing the second one, though.
Yeah, I like both, but I think it's the first one.
Are we afraid of Yuri for the Braves or for the Marlins taking some of these Braves bats today? To me, I think the Braves are they're so hot, they're so good, and it's not like Perez is going to be in there forever. So I think I'm okay taking the Braves, no problem.
And Perez is great, but Perez hasn't really faced anybody that great. Like, if you look at his game logs, he's had some really, really easy matchups. I'm not saying he's not going to be like an amazing pitcher, but I mean, let him prove it against Atlanta. You know, like this is a monster team that he has to face today.
Let's see here. Any more questions? We'll get a couple of those. Don't see any in the live stream. Going back to YouTube, let's see. Find any more. Tangenstein, I don't know. Any love for Mackenzie Gore today? So Gore, his plate IQ does look reasonably good today. He just has to go up against Philadelphia. TJ, from the tournament perspective, can you ride the 27% strikeout rate to lefties or righties against Philadelphia today?
I'm not. I don't think it's the craziest thing ever, but I am not. No. The biggest thing that I worry about is just like, he's getting hit so hard by both sides of the plate, and there's really nowhere in this Philly lineup that you're going just like, it's going to be nice and easy now. Like, sure, the back half isn't fantastic, but they do still have some power and some speed there. So there's just too many better options. I don't think it's stupid, but I'm not doing it.
We've got Mitchell Tyler from DraftKings. Best shortstop, 3,200 or less. And I know Tim mentioned this at the position, but Bryce Terang hitting 7th, that would definitely be my spot if I was looking for a cheap shortstop on DraftKings today.
Yeah, there's not really many options in that range. So I think you got to go Bryce Terang.
All right. Zach wants to know from YouTube, Yasmani Grandal and McNeil or Caratini and Tim Anderson? Tim, I'll go with you on that one.
I'd say the first one.
TJ, what about you? I'd probably go first one as well.
I guess the same, just to avoid Tim Anderson, yeah.
Tim on YouTube, not Tim on the show, although he's also on YouTube. So a different Tim wants to know, what about Ober today? Anyone interested in him?
No.
That's a pass for me.
No.
I would play Oviedo, Gore, Morton, Brown. The bat has Perez as the second lowest projection today from pitching. Now, maybe that's probably going up against Atlanta. Just for the guy who want to know about Perez, the bat also very down on him as well. Let's see. Any other questions? We're about 3 minutes to lock. I think we've got most of them. Jake in YouTube wants to know DraftKings single entry. He's got Cease as a starting pitcher. He's got 9,500 left. Who does he pick as his SP1? So this is a single entry. TJ, I'll go to you first.
I would go Wheeler, although I did just make a lineup to get a little bit different that has Eovaldi in it. But Wheeler's the answer for me.
Yeah, I like Wheeler. Wheeler Cease will be very chalky combo. I think on the pricing on pitching across the board on DraftKings is a little low today. So you can get those guys in. Tim, that's
I
probably
think it's
your
going to
comp.
be spread out, though, too. Like, I really don't think like we're going to have to worry about pitching ownership too much today.
Yeah, I'd go Wheeler there.
All right, let's see. Any other questions? We got that one. I don't see any in the live stream. We gave our bets. TJ, birthday golf round?
Yeah, I
What'd
saw
you
some
shoot?
people asking about that. I fired, I believe I was over on Cards' prediction and under on Roth's prediction. So Cards guessed an 86 and Roth guessed a 92, and I fired an 88. So similar to the other rounds I've played this year. Driver and putter weren't doing too great, but the irons were locked in.
Tim, I've never got into golf. I'll do the pitch and putt and mini golf, but I've never played. I don't know where to get 3 or 4 hours to go play golf anymore, and I never got into it. How about you?
I used to be a 5 handicap actually.
You got a ringer.
Golf. Yeah, I used to play golf like 5 or 6 days a week, up until a couple years ago. So yeah, I love golf. Golf is actually it is my favorite sport. So.
Next RG party, Tim, we'll have to bring our clubs and get a little round in, play a match play or something.
There's a Top Golf right there. That's more my style. TJ, Spidey Bomb recap.
So Spidey Bomb number 1, Luis Robert. Number 2, Brandon Nimbo. Number 3, Rowdy Tellez. I'll give a little, we just hit lock. I'll give a little recap of the bets I got in today too. I'm doing home run, and I think at least a couple of us are going to be back for the evening show today. I think it's me, but I got Ohtani and Betts later. I got Bradish, 6 or more strikeouts, Nimmo to hit a homer, Acuna to hit a homer, Robert to hit a homer, Schwarber, Buxton, Tellez, Justin Turner, who's playing already, and then Nathan Eovaldi for 5 or more strikeouts as well.
You got a lot going on there. Tim, any bets, anything for you, or no?
I did the Brewers money line, and I did the Marlins Braves over 9. All
right, I'm on the White Sox -1.5, and on the late slate. Oh, I don't know. You got to tune in for my bets on the late slate. I got a couple for that as well. Go check out Scores and Odds if you're into NFL futures. I posted. I think I'm up to 7. I'm going to get more up throughout the weekend, and the team already had, I don't know, another 15 up there. So if you want to lock up money for the NFL season and want some futures, go check out Scores and Odds for that. Other than that, we'll have a show for the late slate. Until then, for Tim and TJ, I'm Brett. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we out, Jeff.